welcome into the PlayVS 2021 Fall State Championship Finals. And today we're covering the KHSAA. I'm the Doxology. Alongside me is Bass, and we are about to bring you a best of 7 series between two of the hottest teams right now in Kentucky. And Bass, this is a great matchup between Purple Rain and Trinity Esports JV team.
Oh yeah, that's the interesting part of this entire thing, is that normally you'd expect that the best of the best here is going to usually be your varsity squad, but crazy enough, one team here has outlasted their varsity on the same side of the bracket. We're going to take a look at it real quick, and I actually don't even know if this is going to be able to pick it up because this was so early on. Second round of playoffs, Trinity Esports, their normal team, their varsity team, actually fell out. So from there on out, it was up to Trinity Esports, their JV team, to represent them, and they've done a great job at that. They find themselves here in the grand finals against Purple Rain, and this Bowling Green High School squad, they're a little bit of an underdog as well. 13th seed versus the 6th seed here. Docs, at the end of the day, whoever takes this one has got to be proud of their performance.
Yeah, when you're talking about a 6 seed versus a 13 seed, it gives you a little bit of an understanding of what this matchup is going to mean to them, because it allows them to really shine through. Some of these younger players on this JV squad of Trinity Esports, they've got the opportunity to kind of shine through for the next season as well. So they definitely want to show what they're capable of on a championship level. And when we're talking about a championship level, it's a best of 7 series, right? And we've seen some chaos and confusion, and first games drop, second games drop, third games bounce back. We've seen extra time today already in other state championships. Bass, what is gonna be this first game for these two teams?
Listen, I'm going to keep saying it until eventually it is not true. Chaos is abound here. The reality is that game number 1 is all about trying to figure out how your opponents are going to play. And the way you do that is by making some plays you normally might not, to try and see what their response is going to be. How are they going to react when you act a little bit more sporadically than normal? Well, time will tell. Docs, we're about to hop into the first game of this best of 7. All I'm really hoping for, though, is that we get to that game 7. I want to see a full series.
Yeah, it would be really, really exciting to see both of these teams battle it out, as BGS in the orange and THS in the white. You see Trinity Esports is really going to kind of start things off there in the attacking zone already, going back and forth. And I love to see the way that they kind of have already rotated in. We see a little bit of spicy play. There's already a save on the board for Eraser. You see Kryptone already moving back to kind of rotate. And I love seeing those early rotates where you're not committing too much, but it also gives you the chance to kind of get warmed up and really feel the speed of this gameplay. Already 35 seconds off the board.
35 seconds gone, but no goal's gonna be put up on that board quite yet. Both teams trying, but it's just end-to-end for right now. Wondering what's going to be that opening goal. Doesn't really feel like either team is trying to make that risky play to get a good shot on target, just kind of waiting for the defense to fall into a lull. But that doesn't usually happen in game number 1. Usually the defense is pretty rock tight, but meanwhile on the other side, that offense is really where you start to see the creativity and the changes in normal rotation. So far though, it's pretty standard. Minute of play gone, and still neither team able to find the back of the net.
And neither team able, but here's an opportunity. I like that aggression, and I like the attack, trying to clear it out, but Kryptone's going to keep it in the corner. That's going to be met by Racer. Doesn't have a lot of boost, but he does get it cleared all the way out. And as long as it stays in, Darkness is there. Oh, that could have been a great shot on goal, but instead, some good defense and quick thinking, as that's a huge save by Darkness. How did Darkness even get back there? And here comes a demo on Mr. Yum, and now it's going the opposite way. Back and forth we go.
Oh, but wait, this could be the opening goal. No, it's off the post. Mr. Yum with a chance at a double touch, but cannot find it. They find the touch. It's just unfortunately the exact same placement as the initial setup. Bit unfortunate here, because with 2 minutes gone now, that is by far the best chance we have seen all game. Something's got to drop, Docs. We've had too many chances. There is no way we hold on to the 0-0 scoreline.
Yeah, it's been an impressive kind of back and forth. A lot of shots, as you see that one just off the corner, not quite in. I mean, the posts have right now played just incredible defense for both teams. as we're halfway through this game. Is that an open goal? It is. Racer's able to trickle it all the way through, got enough on it to be able to follow through. Nobody had enough boost to get back. You see Kryptone coming by on the other side. He just gets to watch it go all the way into the back of the net. And there's your first goal of this series. Again, it's a best of 7, comes halfway through the first game.
Halfway through the first game here, and now that means it's going to be a come-from-behind victory if Bowling Green wants to try and take this one. Purple Rain doing a good job of keeping themselves close in this one, but it is not quite enough. They need a little bit more here. Again, multiple shots have dropped on target, but they just can't seem to get past this defense. Not surprising considering that Trinity are playing this one very safe here, but eventually something had to drop, and there it is. Mr. Yum with the first one for the Purple Rain.
I mean, it literally just a finesse shot, and I love the Fennec. We call it a Fennec finesse, being able to just sneak by the defender, pop that one up and over into the upper right of the goal. Beautiful goal, ties things up, 2:10 remaining in this game. And really, I feel like this has been a nice back and forth battle for a game one. You know, no team has really come out with too much aggression or too much defense. They both have a balance of that. Which is pretty impressive considering this feels more like a game 3 or a game 4 rather than a game 1.
Oh, 100%. At this point, this is finally that reprieve from chaos that we had been hoping for. Game 1, two teams seem very warmed up, seem very understanding of what type of gameplay is going to be necessary to try and beat their opponents. The question is who takes the win first, though? Because with about 100 seconds left, it really does feel like both teams have got pretty capable offenses, but capable is one thing. The ability to strike is another, and right now it's looking like it could be Purple Rain who are able to do so. They've got an offense building here, but this ball out at midfield is not going to be approached for a second time. Instead, Racer is going to find some free time and space, right? Tries to get a shot off, but instead only finds a 50-50. And as we approach this final minute, it continues to be anybody's ball game.
And I like this little kick up right in front of the box. Here's the shot. It's going to go wide. There was a demo. Daniger came in there. I really, really like the way he kind of came in there and snuck that away. That's going to go off the wall. Here's follow through. A nice little touch as Wham is on the board. For the way that they have played this. Watch this, watch this. I love this touch. He doesn't power it through where it's going to go up and over the goal, but instead he just releases a little bit, so it just kind of bounces in for Bowling Green. Such a beautiful goal, and I love the technicality of that and just kind of seeing what's going through their minds as they just slowly tap it and allow the pressure to continue on the attack.
Here's the thing, though. They got good pressure on the last play, but there's no guarantees it's going to be enough. With 40 seconds left, there's absolutely a chance that Trinity can get back into this one, but they're going to first need to get out of their own half. More pressure coming, and it will result in a goal. Mr. Young picks up the second of the game and might just pick up the win as well.
Yeah, that might be the icing on the cake for this game 1. But again, it's a best of 7. You've got plenty of time to work your way back into it without any stress. You got 34 seconds, and we have seen crazier things. It's Rocket League, right? I've seen 4-second goals off the kickoff, and if they're able to kind of apply the pressure right now, you see this already. Trinity has already moved up into the attacking zone. That's going to be centered up. Yum is going to clear that all the way out. Is anybody back? Yes, there is somebody back, and that was a dangerous save by Daniger, but it did get cleared out, and now it's going the other way. There's just 12 seconds remaining, so as the time is ticking off the clock, it's looking more and more like Bowling Green is going to take this first game.
And I think that they just might.
It's still up. I mean, Bowling Green's like, okay, we're going to keep it going. But no, there we go. Bowling Green does walk away with that first game. But a great job by them. You see 600 balls there. A lot of bumping as well. You saw a couple car bumps that took place from Bowling Green. And a great job the way that they took game 1. Really kind of bounced back, like you said, coming from behind to be able to retake that lead. Honestly, I really liked what I saw, and I'm excited to see what's going to happen in game 2 as the response from Trinity takes place.
We're going to have to find out. Right now, it's starting to seem like Bowling Green have a game plan, and they are executing upon it nearly perfectly. And that's what makes this so difficult, is that when you have a game one where for so long it's a close game like this, look, we approach the last minute, and it's 1-1. Then all of a sudden, Purple Rain just kind of start to pull away with this thing. Bowling Green High School figure out what their game plan is and really execute upon it perfectly. So that's got to be demoralizing for Trinity. But at the same time, Trinity, you have to remember, you kept them to a 1-1 ball game for 4 whole minutes. Remember that going into game 2. Remember how close it was, and try and carry that confidence through it, because if they don't carry the confidence in, we've seen this once today. I would not be surprised if we see it again. Once a team gets the ball rolling, it's very hard to slow them down. So they have to do that here in game number 2.
Yeah, they definitely got to find a way to kind of just play at their speed and not allow Bowling Green to dictate the speed of gameplay. It seemed like when Bowling Green wanted to, they had the rotations, they had the boost control, and they were able to make the shots and continue the shots, whenever they needed. Sometimes they would allow that ball to be cleared up high. But again, when you chip it up, it gives you that opportunity for your teammates to get those side boosts along the midfield, or sometimes those corner boosts all the way back, and then come in and help from that midfield line. I would really like to see Trinity be a little bit more aggressive on that midfield line. It doesn't mean you have to overcommit into attacking, but at least hold that midfield line so it keeps that ball on your attacking zone.
100%. Extended pressure really is what can separate two teams, and we didn't necessarily see that from Purple Rain. I don't think that their game plan here is going to be necessarily as aggressive as some of the other teams that we had seen here tonight, but you don't need to. It just kind of depends on the play style you want to run with. But I would agree with you, Docs. I think for Trinity, they do probably have to play a little bit more aggressive. It seems like, in my opinion, Purple Rain are just a little bit more mechanically gifted. The shots they've been putting on target are just a little bit stronger than their opponents. So if you want to try and shake that up, early goals would be useful, but also just getting more and more pressure is going to help as well. But so far, 15 seconds into this one, despite their best efforts, Trinity not able to open up the scoreline.
Yeah, and really, that was a early opportunity that you needed to cash in. Just not enough boost to be able to get to it. The defense was able to get in front of that ball enough to just clear it to the corner. And now Racer really kind of wants to clear things out, but instead that's going to bounce right in front of the goal. Oh my goodness, I thought Mr. Yum was going to be able to do a little bit of a back touch. I like the handles from Darkness, but unfortunately he can't complete that play. Daniger comes in, and that's going to chip up right to the box. They're going to have to clear it out smartly, attacking that while it's in the sky instead of in the back of the net. You see almost a minute already gone by, Bash, and both of these teams continue to struggle to maintain that midfield control. Instead, it's going back and forth from attack zone to attack zone, and not really able to control that midfield where they can set up a play, maybe off the wall or off the corner, or center it, or even get a shot from the corner as well. I think sometimes when you bunch up that box, you need to take shots from the corner.
Occasionally, yeah, I would say shots from the corner are going to be really useful, but the main thing is just about getting shots in general, in my opinion. At this point, it feels like we're seeing a lot of good offensive pressure, and then nothing's really resulting of it. The two teams are getting chances at offense, but they don't want to take the risk, and there's another really good example. The first miss comes out from Racer, but where's the follow-up? Eventually, Dane is able to get in there, but it's a bit too late. So this is kind of what we're talking about when we say that aggression. If you want to try and pop it out of the corner, that's fine. Just make sure one of your teammates are there and ready to follow it up, and also make sure you don't break rule 1. Mr. Yum, I saw that. I'm gonna be remembering that for the rest of the series.
Gotta make sure you get back to on this rotation. 2 minutes already gone by. It is game 2, and Bowling Green have a 1-game lead. Make that a 1-goal lead in game 2 as well. As you see, Aurelio Wham just come through and really kind of has an open goal opportunity. Nobody could get back. Racer almost was able to, but couldn't get there in time.
Again, this is why I'm saying there's two different strategies at play right now. It feels like Trinity, like you said, are trying to build up their aggression so they can start to find cracks in the defense and really poke and prod until eventually they find goals. Meanwhile, on the other end, for Purple Rain, it's about being advantageous, taking advantage of the little opportunities that they are given, because, yeah, that might have been an open net, but it was only an open net because no one was expecting a shot. Pass out to the corner after so much offense, you're expecting them to continue to try to build it. So when they put a ripper on target, it catches the defense by surprise. And speaking of which, a chance on the other end for Trinity to get back into this one. They had the defense on the ropes, but couldn't quite get the shot on target.
Yeah, you see it get cleared out again. I mean, you really got to apply a little bit more pressure. I'm not sure if that was a whiff out of the air or maybe it just ran out of boost. You see Kryptone now picking up a little bit. Racer is going to trail back. I like this, controlling that midfield, keeps it back, but is really just makes a little bit of a quick turn and wasn't able to be in position. He might have been able to attack that and really compete for possession at the midfield instead of it coming all the way back into their attacking zone. And now you see Mr. Yum. I like this. Mr. Yum is very patient. We're going to see him just ball flip that to his teammate on accident. It goes all the way back into his zone. I want to see if they're able to complete any of these passes and get a shot on goal. Is that going to go in? That goes wide. Will it be followed up? Mr. Yum wanted it, but instead it's kicked out, and a good job by Darkness there. And now Racer plays it all the way through, met by some defense. And again, 2 players in the box pretty much at all times for Bowling Green, and that is an incredible defense.
It's a really good defense so far here, but is it going to be enough with 75 seconds left? I was going to say, have the pressure going back and forth, so maybe something will crack, but apparently it's on the other end. Oh, feels backflip out at midfield. Yeah, that's going to open up enough space, and guess who's going to take advantage? Mr. Yum, once again, their 3rd goal in this series already. We're 70 seconds away, and I have to say, it seems like Bowling Green are finding their form right now. Docs, I still have faith in Trinity to get back into this one, but it definitely feels like Bowling Green are here, and they are here to stay.
Yeah, they definitely feel like their rotation, their preparation, their movement, their communication as well. I don't know if you noticed on that last pass, there was a player that was able to kind of chip it forward off the wall to center it up past the defense, and it was just right timing. And you can only do that if you're communicating with your teammates. So the comms are there. Everything is going well for Bowling Green, and now you see the demos start coming through for Trinity, and that's something to disrupt the defense, is get them off their track. You don't always have to demo them, but bump that car off of their track of where they're going or how they're playing to play defense. But Kryptone gets away with a mile shot from the opposite side. I mean, just a little bounce off of his own player gives him a free shot from the midfield. I love that redirect.
Oh, what a beautiful redirect. That is just perfectly on target. And again, that's what I'm talking about when I say shots out of nowhere. This is why we see Trinity what seems like having a weak defense, but it's not. They're just getting caught off guard because these are not traditional shots being fired off. This one, a little bit more traditional. Darkness finally gets his team on the board. This miss in front of the goal, and then the save, it eventually comes, but it is not enough. And all of a sudden, Trinity will finally get on top.
Yeah, they need to find a way to keep this momentum too. There's 20 seconds remaining in game number 2. Game number 1 was a 3-1 victory for Bowling Green, right? And right now it's looking like a 3-1 victory for Bowling Green. Again, you've got to do more than just score one. Here's another shot, but it's not enough to connect with it. Darkness tries to get it centered up the last few seconds. Can they get another shot on goal? With 3 seconds remaining, that's going to stay alive, but this one might touch down. And yeah, very wisely done by Bowling Green to get that to touchdown. So game 1 and game 2 equal the same scoreline of 3-1, and Trinity has just not been able to create enough offensive attack to get any of those goals to fall through. Only 1 per game. It's just not going to do it against a team like Bowling Green.
Yeah, it's just not enough here at this point. They need to get a little bit more offense. Again, that's why we say they need to get aggressive, is because they just need more shots on target. At this point, it doesn't feel like Bowling Green are completely outclassing them. They're just more efficient when it comes to this offense. Again, 2 play styles, utmost aggression versus quick transitions and efficient offense. It depends on what you prefer, and right now, I gotta say, I have to imagine Purple Rain are preferring their type of play over their opponents. They're currently up 2-0 after 2 3-1 victories in a row, and the main reason I like this playstyle is they are absolutely sharing the love right now. Every single player for Purple Rain had a goal in that last game. That's just kind of how it works right now, is they've got 3 strikers, which are all incredibly lethal. And Docs, that's what makes it all the more difficult for Trinity as well. They not only have to shut one player down, they've got to shut down all 3.
Yeah, and I think the way that you shut them down is they're going to need to stop the bleeding in game number 3. They're going to need to find a way to really force the plays and the ball into specific zones. They can't just play it as I'm going to attack the ball or I'm going to attack this player, because you have 3 strikers on Bowling Green. You have to keep an eye on all of them. So maybe get a demo, make a 3v3 into a 2v3, and then allow your team to kind of get that cleared out pass. Maybe you open up one of the sides by pushing the ball into a specific zone where everybody chases it. If they don't chase it too, That's okay. You send one person directly into the mix and try to get some physicality to jar up one of those players possibly. You might be able to bump one car into another, and that can open up the entire box for a good shot. The other thing that we've seen too, Trinity just hasn't been able to get enough of these shots on goal to score, really.
Yeah, they've been putting a lot of shots off target, but I do want to hint upon what you were talking about before with that physicality. I think they need to be very careful about that because, as we've seen, the transitions and counterattacks from Purple Rain are extremely quick. They are within the blink of an eye. So if one of the players off of Trinity does commit a bit too much, like you said, lingers around the box and just tries to get that physical play going, it could leave them to some vulnerability and easy counterattacks. So they need to find the balance here in game number 3. If they do not, unfortunately, they'll be staring down the eyes of a sweep here, and that's not something you want to do. Fighting back from a sweep, especially against a team that has taken 2-3 goal games in a row against you, that's a difficult task, to put it simply. So let's see, can they shake this one up? Can Trinity get on the board early here in game number 3? Only time will tell.
Yeah, and this is to be noted as well. Purple Rain comes in as the 13th seed. So they're on pace to upset the number 6 seed in Trinity Esports. So that's something very interesting, is that Trinity's JV squad was the 6th seed coming into this. So we know that they are capable of playing at a very, very high level through the regular season as well as through the playoffs in order to even get here. So they might be able to turn everything around. All they need to do is get a little bit of a momentum boost. And I know from Rocket League and being around Rocket League long enough, it's a game of momentum and a game of inches. Once you are able to just get a little bit or get your foot in the door, you're able to find out how the defense is working, and you can break it down a lot faster and really create a lot more open opportunities with more shots on goal. But again, with players like Krypton and Mr. Yum, you see Mr. Yum playing in the box before coming out. I like that little stutter. Before coming out, he decides, maybe I should stay back. I'm not going to commit to this too quickly. And then finally commits when he absolutely needs to. But Krypton already in the goal again with another big save. Having those type of players and that caliber of defense on your team for Bowling Green is really what sets you apart, and is one of the reasons why you're up 2 games in this best of 7 series in the KHSAA.
Oh, but all of a sudden, we finally see the crack here in game number 3. Shot on target, and it is a boomer at that. Real OM just going to put it into the back of the net and finally open it up. Bowling Green up by 1.
Yeah, I mean, they just continue to find ways to capitalize on their shots. Sometimes they don't follow up with that second and third shot. They just make sure that their first shot is on target. And that's exactly how you make sure that your rotations are good, because they're able to basically say, all right, we know that we can pull 2 back and have one guy go forward and get that shot on goal. And he's going to put it on goal. And that's kind of been the difference maker, is we've seen some shots from Trinity, but they just haven't been on goal.
I just haven't been on target yet, but maybe we can see a switch up here, because with about half the game remaining, there's plenty of time for Trinity to get back into this one. They need to get those shots, and they need to get them real quick. They have an offense building here, but a miss out at midfield, and then a Fields backflip is going to lead space for Bowling Green to get a counterattack. Luckily enough, Darkness will get in the way, so he's going to make sure that his team continues with this offense. That's all they can do. Racer denied on the line by the saves, but now we're starting to see a real offense build here. Trinity locking their opponents into their half, but you guys spoke too soon. Bowling Green finally going to find some reprieve and get some shots on target.
Yeah, Danger with a nice save there to kind of clear it out. You see Racer with a shot in the corner, but Real Wham just, I mean, comes out of nowhere. I love the usage of boost too. If you're able to pick up that boost along that corner and be in the box without using that boost, it gives you the chance to really cover so much ground that you might not be able to. Darkness with a redirect, but he's unable to complete it as Real Wham just gets to it first, but he does take out Krypton as they get back on the rotation for defense. You see it long clears, but it just continues to go back and forth. Does this drop in? No. I love the aerial control from Real Wham there. That was an impressive defensive stop and then possession that they took over.
Now let's see, can they find another good possession here and prevent their opponents from getting back onto offense? If Bowling Green can just lock their opponents into their half here for the next minute, they are absolutely taking this game. They might even be able to get another one on top of that. Mr. Yum looking for a 50-50, but that's a double commit. Yum just needs a bump. He goes for darkness, but cannot get the touch. Heads up play by Bowling Green there. They saw the awkwardness in the defense and just started to put on the pressure. They might not have found a goal, but one thing they did find is enough to lock their opponents into their half. Trinity struggling to find an offense here, and with 45 seconds left, they need one. They lose this, they are down 3-0 in the series, and like we've said before here, Docs, a reverse sweep, it's possible, but it is highly unlikely.
Yeah, it's highly unlikely, and with the way that Bowling Green has just played, I mean, they've absolutely shut down Trinity so far. But Trinity continues to fight on. I love this. They're within one. There's 20 seconds remaining in game 3. They're not giving up. They're fighting tooth and nail. You see the clears. You see the corner kicks. You see the way that they're kind of trying to get things back. Can they get it? Yes! Danger is able to get in front of the defense. I thought possibly there was enough boost as Wham just tries to get it bounced off the wall. But Danger is able to get to it first. We have a tie game going into the final few seconds. 12 seconds remain in this game number 3.
Oh, we had to get a goal there. Trinity said, we're not getting shut out. We're keeping the streak alive. A goal a game, but can they make it 2 for this one? Only time will tell. I have a feeling it's going to have to come in overtime. Oh, if we can get there. That was a really awkward pop. Luckily enough, we do. Ball hits the ground in the corner, and we go 1-1 into overtime, game number 3. And again, this feels like a must-win. If Trinity do not win this one, it is match point for their opponents, and they need to reverse sweep in a best-of-7.
It's so difficult as Wham with a shot on goal, an epic save coming in from Racer. And now you see Mr. Yum trying to get back. He picks up that midfield boost, throws it over to Wham. There's a big demo from Mr. Yum, and now it's going the opposite way. A nice redirect, but Racer is there to deny the shot on goal. A save as he comes all the way through, and now it's Trinity on the attack in the corner. Another shot on goal, an epic save from Mr. Yum. It's going back the other way, but you see Mr. Yum center it up, and Racer's gonna have to chase it into the corner. And Bass, I mean, we're 50 seconds in. This is crazy.
Yeah, this is absolute insanity here. This overtime quite literally could determine this series because, again, Trinity really need this one. As much as Bowling Green would love to go 3-0 in the series, they've got a little bit of room to breathe here. They lose this one, that's fine. They've got plenty of time to get back into the series, but again, I don't think they even want to look at that. They'd rather take a clean sweep to move on out of here, but that is a lot easier said than done, as all of a sudden, Trinity mount up another offense here. They've got awkward positioning in the corner, though. The double commit, it does get a touch from Danger, but they're definitely overextending themselves. With 0 boost in the tank, this could come back to bite them if Bowling Green can get a quick transition, but Darkness going to deny that for now, or maybe not. Demo on him is going to open up some space out of midfield. Yum can go up for this one, but only gets a light touch, so it's not going to turn into the end of the Trinity offense quite yet, but Bowling Green, they're waiting. They're looking for that counter-attacking opportunity because they know eventually it will arrive. Could it be right here into the back of the net? And just as I speak about it, it will arrive. Bowling Green head to 3-0.
Oh my goodness. And this shot, I mean, it looked like a clear that just got a good bounce all the way followed through. And Bowling Green with a 3-game lead in this best-of-7 series. Trinity now has to reverse sweep, forcing not only just a game 7, but they have to take game 7 to win the championship if they want their opportunity. They've got to win this next game in game number 4. And I mean, Bass, I felt like they played that really well. I really do. I think they played that game pretty clean, defensively sound, good rotations, good communication. I didn't think they overcommitted too much or gave up anything simple. But going into game 4 now, it's a do or die moment for them.
I mean, that's the thing, though, is that, like, for the most part, I would agree with you. I don't think they really overextended or did anything improper. The issue with Rocket League is that it's not about how you do for 5 minutes. It's how you do for a 10-second period, because all of a sudden, I mean, I called it out in Cast Docs. That was the issue, is we saw that as soon as I want to say it was Darkness who was in that corner, he got a good 50-50. At that point, it's time for you to back out of the play, my friend. You've got 0 boost in the tank, and you need to let someone else around you rotate in so that they they can keep up with that attack. When he goes for another touch there, and then all of a sudden the ball just kind of lingers in their half, and they've got two players in the same corner, you're just inviting a counterattack, and that's exactly what we saw. So Trinity need to be careful. You see this a lot. It's that hero mentality, as I like to call it. Basically, hey, we haven't found any success on offense before, so I'm gonna be the one to change that up. And once one player on the team has that, it is the beginning of the end. Trinity need to be careful here. They need to play as a team because, in my opinion, that's why Purple Rain is doing so well.
Yeah, I mean, I do think, though, that Trinity does have a lot to work with, that they can come back, especially as the 6th seed going up against the 13 seed. They do have some really predominant scorers. All they need to do is they need to get those shots in. They have been just a little bit off here and there. They've hit the post, they've hit the corner, they've hit the top, the backboard area. It hasn't really gone their way. And I do think that the more shots that they get on goal here in this game 4, the more opportunities they have for it to drop into the back of the net. I think they play the defense that they did in game 3, and we're going to see a completely different story as they fight back here in this game. On the other side of things, Bowling Green, I mean, they just do what they do. Just keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, just keep on trucking along, but they would like a goal to start this one off. Apparently the defense would not, and all of a sudden counterattacking opportunity, actually this time for Trinity Esports. And I'm starting to think maybe Trinity are coming into this one with a little bit of a different game plan. They've got good aggression here, but are they going to overextend themselves? Yes, they are. That is all 3 players now for Trinity in their opponent's half, so they are scrambling back to try and find a defense. They'll find a save there from Racer, but what about on the follow-up? And will be denied. Darkness will pop that one out, but again, it kind of feels like Trinity are starting to panic. The pressure is set in, and the reality of what's at stake has finally started to be understood here. Trinity need to play carefully here. If they overextend again, Bowling Green too quick on transitions, they will punish.
Yeah, 4 minutes away from being crowned the KHSAA champions. Bowling Green wants to get 1 goal at least, and then they just need to carry that out and hold their defense. I mean, when you think of all of the games that they've played, all the tournaments that they've played throughout this season, and then in the playoffs to get to where they are now, I mean, we're at 3 minutes and 35 seconds as that almost dropped off the post, playing a little bit of defense for Trinity as well. It's just crazy to think of how quickly this is all going to go by for them, and all they need to do is really play their game and continue. And on the other side of things with Trinity, just get one. Just get one and you can work with that. That's exactly how you were so close and it went into extra time on the last game in game 3. Just get one.
If they can get one, all of a sudden it changes this entire scenario, especially considering we have 2 minutes of gameplay here without anybody being able to score. So that would actually probably give Trinity, as far as I am aware, their first lead this entire series. That's quite something special for this team. When you've been looking for that catalyst to get you guys going the whole time, finding it in game number 4 would mean something special, but there are no guarantees, especially when BGS have a counterattack starting to brew here. Racer, a good touch out of the corner, but I don't think they're going to be able to do much else besides that. Pass tries to go center. Danger will cut it out. But again, Trinity need to be careful. These counterattacks are becoming more and more potent. Eventually, one of them is going to drop.
You see Racer coming down off the wall, but it's just taken away from the defense. I mean, Bowling Green just absolutely disrupted all attack on there. This is going to get bounced right in front of the goal. Dangerous, but it does get cleared out. Now Mr. Yum and Darkness kind of traffic jam on the wall in the corner there. You see Kryptone using all of his boost is going to have to find something as he gets back on defense. That's going to be a missed opportunity, and Danger powers one in, and now Trinity with the first lead of this game. I do believe they scored first in game 1. However, this is the big one where it allows them to play their defense and hang on for 2 minutes and 3 more seconds to force a game 5.
The thing is, though, this is not a guarantee. Like you said, they're going to try and force that game 5, but as we have seen multiple times throughout this series, and possibly right now, Purple Rain with a comeback potential, but they can't do it quite yet. Shots starting to rip on target, but they need one to find its way into the back of the net and guarantee at minimum an overtime. My oh my, they are getting very close. Bowling Green, no, they don't want to allow this game to slip away from them. As much as it's unlikely for a reverse sweep to happen, the way that it starts is just a single game. So if Trinity can get this one, all of a sudden that possibility becomes a whole lot more real. But first, they got to try and secure the win. Saves on the line will deny it for now.
Oh my. That was 99.9% through the back of the net. And Mr. Yum legitimately pulled out some Mr. Miyagi magic to be able to clear that out of the goal. I don't know what in the world he did, waxed his car or whatever. That was a wax on, wax off flip to kick it out, as really Trinity is continuing the aggression. And I absolutely love this aggression as Racer buries another one in. And it's looking like it could go to a game 5, as game 4, Trinity now holds a 2-goal lead for the first time in the series, and they only have a couple seconds remaining, 57 seconds remaining in this game.
They're trying their best to hold on here, but again, it feels like Purple Rain, you can never count them out. All they also need is one good goal, and that spark of life will be the same for them. So they're hunting for it here. They don't want to even give up a game. Try and take this one in 4. First, they gotta start getting a good offense together here. Just diving at the ball. No one able to make a really meaningful touch. So they'll be sent back into their own half yet again. And it could be for another goal for Trinity. Darkness will pick up one for himself. And all of a sudden, the team that needed it most have found themselves with a lead going into game number 5, potentially.
And when you are talking about a game of momentum, this feels like Trinity has hit that heartbeat monitor, and it shows that they are alive. They're ready to go. As 30 seconds remaining, they have a 3-goal lead. They've got to continue to apply pressure. There's a big-time clear out to the corner. They're using up a lot of time here. 20 seconds to go with the 3-goal lead. It looks like they will keep their championship hopes alive as they're going to take game number 4. And honestly, this is the response they needed to have. This is a big-time response against a team that has held them to just 1 goal every single game in this series. The ball is just going to have to touch down, even if it goes in the back of the net for Bowling Green. It will be complete, and there we go. Trinity taking game 4, 3-0, putting up the first goose egg of the series, and a good job by them responding after being down 3-1 in the first game, 3-1 in the second game, and then 2-1 in overtime in game number 3. They've got to keep this momentum going into game 5 to force that game 6, because Bowling Green is still on match point.
Yeah, indeed, they are still on match point, and at this point, it's got to be a perfect game from here on out. That's why we emphasize how difficult of a run this is going to be for Trinity Esports here. They're a great team. We do not want to take anything away from that, but the unfortunate reality is that great isn't enough. You need to be absolutely incredible and be able to do that for basically 15 minutes straight now. That is not an easy task. Is it a possible one? Yes, absolutely. If anybody's going to do it, it's going to be this Trinity High School squad, but I gotta say, Purple Rain, that's the most off they have looked pretty much this entire series. If they can kind of just shake that one off and act as if it never happened and come into game 5 playing like they did through the first 3, we may still see the end of the series.
We might still see the end of the series, but at the same time, the way that Trinity played, they shut out Bowling Green, right? And talk about a team that scored 3 in the first 2 games apiece, and then 2 in the last game. I mean, this is a team that's used to finding the back of the net, and they completely shut them down. Now, it could just be the fact that they were saying, okay, we've taken 3 games, we can kind of relax or change up our, strategy. And now they're going to respawn and go back to that same strategy that they had in game 1 and game 2, the way that they found all of their success. And if you're a Trinity, keep doing what you're doing, because currently, right now, that momentum is in your favor. So use that to your advantage.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like we've mentioned before, Rocket League really is a game about momentum. It's not entirely momentum, but man, does it get help. And right now, Trinity need them to get helped out by that momentum as much as physically possible, because game number 5 is underway, and they need to win this one as well just to keep the series going. They have an offense building here, so if they can get another early goal, I like their chances, Docs.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit difficult. You see them kind of going back and forth, and that, honestly, I thought that was going to be a Bowling Green goal, because it looked like 2 defenders were off the mark. That one goes just wide. Krypton can't get to it. You see the defender come up to really just aggress that ball at midfield, and I like that. That's really, really hard to get a pass into the zone or into the box when you're already getting disrupted by the defense. And you see the way that they continue to clear this into the corner. Trinity's going to have to pick up their boost, find their way back. Danger is going to play it all the way up and over his own goal into the other corner, and Darkness is going to follow that up. But Mr. Yum with a nice little chip to keep it in. I mean, this has been back and forth for 1 minute and 5 seconds already. 0-0s across the board, which we've seen this before. And now Racer, as I'm talking about 0-0s, Racer comes in with this impressive move. He kind of taps it against the wall, taps it again, and then it goes off of Krypton. So it's going to be credited as a self-goal in a way from Krypton, because sometimes it doesn't happen like that. But that was just unfortunate for Krypton. Couldn't really do anything about that. And kudos to Racer for recognizing the positioning that they were in, as that one goes just wide off Mr. Yum. That would have been 2 self-goals in a row, which is quite unfortunate for BGS. But instead, they've kind of escaped that for now, as Danger is going to get that midfield boost. And now the real OWAM is going to bring it on his attack for Bowling Green.
He's going to try and get something together here. Bowling Green have not been able to find a solid offense in quite some time, but a good 50-50 from Yum's going to open up some space. Maybe OWAM can find a follow-up. Not really. It's just a 50-50 that kind of goes awry. And again, this is the concern right now. It feels like Bowling Green are starting to feel the pressure. The panic is setting in, and the team is kind of just diving at everything without thinking about the repercussions. Perfect example right there. Gives me a moment to talk about why that panic is setting in. OWAM goes up for this one, does get a touch. So what does Crypto do? He bangs it for no reason. Danger is actually there and is lurking, but had he not passed that out, he probably could have just taken that into the corner, baited out the defense, and forced them into a touch. Instead, he gives away the possession, and all of a sudden, Trinity are up by 2. Bowling Green really starting to panic right now. They need to take a deep breath and calm the nerves. They are a very capable team, but at the moment, they just aren't quite showing it.
Yeah, Darkness playing very well. Trinity's team is playing extremely well. The way that they're communicating, Racer has been on both sides of the ball. Actually, it's been very impressive the way that Racer has been able to pick up some of that boost to get to both sides, whether it's been on offense or getting back on defense into the box and being able to make some of those saves. You see him coming up with his teammate here, but he's going to clear back, and you see he's got 0 boost, but he is able to get all the way back with 0 boost and make that save alongside Danger. I mean, that's an impressive rotation all the way through that we were able to see, and kudos to the production crew to be able to follow that player all the way through the whole play.
Now, we got to see if they can follow this game, though. At this point, Trinity doing a good job of getting the 2-0 lead, but that is not enough to secure them the win, especially with Bowling Green now at about 8 minutes of play without a goal. You know they are hungry for that one. They're looking for that spark of life, but they also need to find some saves as well. Darkness going to put in a third, and possibly the dagger here in this game already.
69-mile-an-hour shot too. It's just such a hard shot. You're utilizing a lot of boost there to be able to power that past the defense. Mr. Yum was there, but there was just no reaction time that you could have. You couldn't even initiate your boost quick enough to be able to make that save. And now Racer with a big save for Trinity. This is looking like a whole different team in Game 4 and now Game 5 from Trinity High School. They're doing an absolute incredible job, and Trinity Esports JV squad has finally been scored on for the first time in almost 8 minutes, as Wham comes through and is able to sneak this one past the defense. Just a little bit of lapse in judgment, but it's still a 3-1 game.
3-1 game, but the thing is, with 100 seconds left on the clock and the spark of life finally found for Bowling Green, it feels like now more than ever they actually really do have a chance at this comeback, but they need to be careful. If they give up another goal here, all that comeback potential is basically lost, and they seem to know that. They're going back to their transition play, moving quickly into the offense, setting up his teammate, but it's not enough. OWAM tries to glide that down so that Crypto can get an easy shot, but it is not going to find the back of the net. And that probably should have, because now there's 70 seconds left and they do not have that necessary goal to get it going. Instead, it's the other end. Racer puts in a fourth and possibly calls curtains on this ball game.
I absolutely love that play. Darkness is in the corner, is able to keep that in the attacking zone, in the box. Then you see the other player just come up quickly as Racer is trailing on, and Dane is able to get just enough on it where it's going to bounce back. And then Racer gets the quick rebound after the defense has bit. We're a minute away from Trinity forcing a game number 6 and being one step closer to that reverse sweep, because Bowling Green is still on match point. Think about that going into game 6. They are still on match point, so they can basically just create a little bit of momentum here, maybe get a late goal that kind of stops the bleeding and allows them to refresh and start fresh as they go into this next game, because with 30 seconds left, it might be just a little bit too late for Bowling Green to tie this up, especially as Trinity continues on the attack.
They're continuing to put on this pressure, and like you said, it's going to be looking towards the next couple games at this point for Bowling Green. And now I got to wonder if they're also looking at game number 7 as a real possibility. It's the second time in a row where it's been just overwhelmingly in favor of Trinity. It's not as if Bowling Green started to kind of fall asleep and get into a lull. It's as if they've completely been knocked out. It's a bit unfortunate because this is just not characteristic of the team. Congratulations to Trinity Esports on getting themselves their second win, but I'm just hoping for a bit of a better contest here, because it just kind of feels like Purple Rain are getting a little bit too scared. They're playing this ball with a lot of panic. Like we said, that touch out in the corner really does sort of show what we are talking about, where they're diving at the ball kind of recklessly, not thinking about what the repercussions of their plays are. Meanwhile, Trinity playing everything surgically. This is beautiful play from them. So there's got to be a switch up at this point. It's not like Bowling Green are playing poorly or out of this by any stretch of the imagination. They're just playing a bit too risky for their own good.
Yeah, a little bit risky, but at the same time, when you're up 3-2 now on a series, you're on series point. It's a best of 7, of course. All Bowling Green needs is this next game. Even if you keep it close, a 1-1 game or a 0-0 game, or even if it's like a 2-1 game and you're able to force it into extra time, all you need is one goal to fall. So I'm not saying that Bowling Green needs to, really be worried right now. Maybe if it forces into a game 7, that's where you start saying, okay, how do we respond to this offense from Trinity? They've gotten hot at the right time and they're absolutely firing on all cylinders. But with Trinity, I really think that the way that they played this last game, the momentum is still in their favor and they feel that. So they're going to continue to take maybe those midfield clears and go for those extra second and third shots. We saw that all 3 defenders came up to play offense. We saw Darkness get the first touch, Danger get the second, and then Racer follow with the third shot on goal. And that's how they were able to bury that last one in. And Bast, that kind of tells me that they're starting to feel it, and their communication and their rotations are going to be on point.
Yeah, that's a big thing here, is it feels like the confidence has finally been found for Trinity. We had that for Bowling Green out the gates. They came into the series very confident, very aggressive, and very methodical in the way they played. Again, those counter-attacking transitions, they may not feel like aggression, but when you're able to move that quickly into your opponent's half and get that solid of a shot off before you can even blink, it really does sort of just show you it was a different ball game when we started this one to where we are now, because we move into game number 6, and all of a sudden, Trinity have taken 2 in a row, allowing a single goal through 10 minutes of play, and already they've got one on the board. Darkness with the opening goal here in game number 6.
Hello, Darkness, my old friend. I mean, just sneaking it through. Look at that disruption, too. Racer comes through and blocks the view of the defender. It looked like he was going to go for a little bit of a car bump and then kind of braced for it, but instead he just kind of glanced away, recognizing that this ball was going to be on point less than 10 seconds in, and Trinity with a 1-goal lead. And now if you're Bowling Green, you're kind of on your heels. You've got to find a way to keep this just a 1-goal game. And you see Mr. Yum on the attack right here, kind of takes it away from the clear out there, and now Krypton comes up. And as you see, one defender goes back in Mr. Yum, but he gets beat out, and that's going to trickle all the way in by Danger, because Mr. Yum bit on that but didn't get enough on the ball. You see him come up quickly, but it's just bounced right underneath him. Danger with a beautiful move to just let it roll all the way into the back of the net. A 2-goal lead for Trinity. And Bass, this is looking like a whole breakdown of a team right now.
Yeah, this is just uncharacteristic at this point of Bowling Green. They look very, very pained. Again, we talk about why that goal even gets there in the first place is because Mr. Yum doesn't have enough faith in his teammates to rotate back in time. He goes for an early challenge over trying to buy team for his team to get into to get into position, and I can understand why, but it really is just sort of emphasizing further how much the panic is setting in and how much Bowling Green need to take a second and just take a deep breath. Gentlemen, you are a very strong squad. You need to remember that as we move into what could be the last couple of games of this series, because without that confidence, they do not have anything to ride on, because at this point, the momentum definitely isn't in their favor, but maybe they can get a goal here. Crypto shot gonna go a bit high. Will there be a follow-up? No, Darkness will clear it out. Another good opportunity, but unfortunately, Bowling Green can't quite strike.
Yeah, it's hanging inside the balance of that box where they're just going back and forth. You see Darkness come up and clear it out finally now, but it just continues. You see them, I mean, they're keeping it on that midfield control where they keep it in their attacking zone. It makes it very difficult to clear it out, pick up your boost, and then go on the attack. You see a double commit from Bowling Green, and that's a dangerous double commit too, because if that ball had cleared out to the side, a trailing player from Trinity could just come in and tap in an open goal. But 3 minutes remaining, Bass. This is exciting.
This is a very exciting back and forth, and it's so exciting, in fact, that Racer is going to find a third. Again, this player has been electric the last couple of matches. To be fair, the whole team has, but 4 goals in 3 games, 3 assists in the exact same amount of time. It's very clear. Trinity have turned this one around. They are on top here. They know how they want to play this one. I'm just hoping that in Game 7, if we get there, which, again, is looking rather likely right now, that we see a bit of a turn-up here from Bowling Green, because right now the Purple Rain seem a little bit quiet. They're looking for that catalyst, but just aren't finding it. If they don't find it before we go into Game number 7, I'm worried, Docs, we're just going to see another game heavily in favor of Trinity.
Trinity has done something very unique as well, where I haven't seen them necessarily bite too much on defense. You see one in the box, you see the rotate where Danger's there, but Danger doesn't clear out and follow Racer right there. Instead, you saw him put on the brakes, and now he's back to where he can play defense. Unfortunately, he gets taken out by the defense, and Mr. Yum recognizes that quickly. You see Racer didn't get that full clear, and now all the way in the back of the net is where Danger was. Couldn't get in front of the goal to be able to make that stop. And now Bowling Green, just 2 goals away with 2:15 remaining. They're not out of it yet in this Game 6. Again, this is Game 6, and Bowling Green, if they walk away with the victory, whether they come back with 2 and force extra time, or they score 3 in the next few minutes, I mean, they walk away the champions, and Trinity, all of this battling is all for naught.
All of this battling, all for naught, but I don't think it's going to be that, because all of a sudden, with just about 100 seconds left, Bowling Green might be getting some offense together, but they're still struggling to find solid shots. Trinity, I've got faith in you, but not if you panic like that. No touch will arrive, so now free space for Bowling Green to get a shot. Racer will make the save and clear that one out, but scary scenario. Trinity, now is not the time to start getting passive. It's the time to secure yourselves a Game number 7, and Racer might have done that there with a 4th goal for Trinity.
That's all I can say about that. That was a spicy move by Darkness to bounce that up and over the contending defense that was coming to play that in the corner. And really just a great move as he got it centered forward. Racer following perfect timing. A 3-goal lead now with 1:25 remaining in Game 6. And it's looking closer and closer, like we're going to be getting a Game 7. And who doesn't love a Rocket League championship on the Game 7 match? I mean, it's one of the best things in Rocket League when you see a reverse sweep. Like we said before, it's extremely rare and it's extremely difficult, but it is possible, as Danger with another good shot on goal, but a great save by Mr. Yum. That one's going to bounce all the way through from Mr. Yum coming back the other way. But again, you're talking about 56 seconds and still a decent makeup where they've got to score a couple goals in less than a minute. It makes it really, really difficult to say that they'll be able to do it. I'm not saying they can't, but it's going to make it really difficult to score those few goals.
going to be rather difficult, but at this point, you have to have faith. Bowling Green, your fans are out there, and they're cheering for you guys to try and close this one out. They don't even want to see a Game 7, so let's see what you got. 45 seconds left, another offense building. Mr. Yum tries to get the center to one of his teammates, but can't quite do so. Oh, and that's a huge demo. Not only does it open up some space out at midfield, but it's wasted a lot of time. Wait a minute, it might not be a no, but no, Mr. Yum cannot make the touch. Open net from a counterattack, but without the shot arriving, I think the chances of a comeback have gone out the window. 24 seconds left, and another offense will build in. It'll actually find the back of the net. 20 seconds left, and Dogs, they're only down by 1.
Hold the phone. It's not over yet. And you and I both know in Rocket League, it doesn't matter if it's triple zeros, if it's a 1-goal game, it can completely change everything. A couple volleys to keep it up. You've got 17 seconds to make something happen. Darkness comes through quickly. He was looking for that kick-off goal, but now on the attack is Bowling Green. Can they keep this ball up? Trinity just trying to clear it and have it hit the ground as it touches 1. And oh my goodness, he kept it alive. Krypton kept it alive. Mr. Yum kept it alive as it just glances off the Phoenix hood. And that's going to be up. And are they going to get a shot off? There's a shot. Oh, it just goes wide and Mr. Yum can't get to it. Trinity finds a way to win in Game 6, forcing a Game 7. Game number 1, 2, and 3 go to Purple Rain, and it was a hard-fought battle. It looked like it was over, but Trinity Esports responds, taking Game 4, 5, and 6. What an impressive game, Bass.
This is an incredibly impressive showing, and it means we're going to get a game number 7 that is absolutely legendary. Remember how I said I was a little bit nervous if Purple Rain weren't able to find that spark, that Game 7 was going to be a repeat of Game 4 and 5? Yeah, I don't think that any longer. All of a sudden, Purple Rain have turned on the Jets when it counts most, and they kept this one very close. So I think we're going to get a Game 7 that goes down in the history books here, Doxology. I cannot wait for this one to start.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Now, one of the things that I've noticed is Trinity Esports has allowed a few more goals than they did in Game 4 and 5, and that was a game where we saw Purple Rain really turn it up a little bit on their rotations. They did maximize that midfield. As I look at some of my notes too, one of the things that Purple Rain needs to do in Game 7 is they need to shut Racer down for Trinity Esports. Racer has been on all sides of the ball and has been a part of a lot of those goals, whether it's been an assist or been a bump or been a disruption as he clears out some of that spacing. They have to make sure that they keep an eye on him, and I think if they can kind of keep him from that attacking zone, it's going to be a lot harder for Trinity to find the back of the net. On the other side, Bass, what's Trinity got to do?
I mean, Trinity, in my opinion, right now just need to play consistently. It feels like when they're aggressive and they have confidence, they play well. When they start to get passive and leave a little bit of room for Bowling Green to start working with is by far when they are the weakest. So let's see, can they switch that up? Can they keep the consistency here in Game 7? In my opinion, this will be their toughest task. The pressure is on now more than ever, and both the teams know this. The winner of this one will be the KHSAA champion, so I cannot wait to see what happens.
Here we go. 20 seconds already down. That's going to be a shot on goal, but an epic save from Racer. And as it said in chat, it all comes down to this. Game 7, baby. It's time. 30 seconds already off the clock. We got zeros across the board. Players are already up walls, on the ceiling, flying left and right. So it is going to look like a little bit of chaos ensues as Mr. Yum, with quite a bit of boost, is able to disrupt that. But that gets cleared out with a nice shot from Racer, and exactly what Bowling Green does not want to happen. Racer is able to get a nice response as he takes it out of the air, and then just a nice touch past the defender. Great goal by Trinity, and they have the lead with 4:12 remaining.
They have the lead, but can they hold on to it is the bigger question. So far, they've been able to do so. Again, aside from that first game where they gave up the early lead, they've been able to hold on after they take it every single time. But I think here in Game 7, there's something in the air. It's going to be a little bit different. If they want to hold on to this lead, they've got to increase it, because right now, Bowling Green looking like they're pretty solid on defense here, but they do need a clearance if they want to try and survive. That's not going to be it. Crypto's going to miss the ball, but actually both teams are, so a shot's going to ring on. It's not going to be on target, but oh my, if you didn't think the nerves were set in here in game number 7, I hope you do now, because a play like that just proves it. The teams know what's at stake, and they are trying to play as carefully as they can.
And honestly, one of the things that I just noticed was there were 2 rotating on the same side of the ball. When you look at Bowling Green and you have 2 committing on that same ball, if it bounces to the other side, it becomes a 1v2 really quickly, and it's really dangerous. So you got to shore up some of that. And Mr. Yum, coming from the top shelf, did a pile driver like WWE out of nowhere to power that home. RKO, let's go. It's tied up.
It is tied up, and now the question is whether or not we're going to see something to disrupt that before the end of regulation. I'd love a 1-1 overtime. I don't think it's going to be all that likely. Both these teams are pressing, and it could be right here, but no! Kryptone misses the ball, not quite able to get a touch, and what was a golden opportunity for Bowling Green has unfortunately fallen to the wayside.
I mean, it's just back and forth now. We're creeping up on halfway through this game 7, tied 1-1. We could see some free Rocket League, some extra time, some golden gold championship moments. Heroes will be made today as both teams battling it out, and credit to Trinity as they are, well, right now they let that one in, but they have fought back from being down 3-0 in a best-of-7 series to force this game 7. Now they find themselves trailing by 1 as Wham follows that one all the way through, and following your shot is a huge deal, and Wham knows that, so he was able to power that one home just at the nick of time. 2:37 remaining, Bowling Green with a 1-goal lead.
Bowling Green with a 1-goal lead, but can they hold on to it for another half of the game? Like we said, we're expecting a back and forth here, and that means for Trinity as well. They have not been able to fight back from giving up a lead before, but I've got faith in them to do so, especially with saves like that. Danger keeping it out of the net, but can they keep it out the half? I think not, because OWAM's going to press the issue. 50-50 in front of the net, saved by Racer, but they haven't escaped quite yet. Trinity still feeling the pressure of this Bowling Green half. Purple Rain, what another goal! And they will find it. Own goal or not, it's gonna be important, because now Purple Rain are up by 2.
And that just glanced with the barely ever so spin. You see it just spin and drop into the back of the net, and you want that back. I mean, a complete unintentional goal. 2:05 remaining, and now Bowling Green with a 2-goal lead kind of puts Trinity on their heels the way that they were in the first few games, and Wham sneaks another one in, so a 3-goal lead. I mean, this is where you give an inch and the team's gonna take a mile, and Wham just beats out 2 defenders. I mean, this is a complete change of pace from what we had the last 3 games.
This is a very different ball game all around, but it kind of goes to show you what we were talking about before. All it needs is that spark of life. Bowling Green getting a solid end of Game 6 is what changed this entire thing. They may not have won that game, but it gave them the necessary confidence to move into Game 7 and get this aggression out. They are up 4-1 with about 100 seconds left, and if they can continue with this type of aggression, with this type of pressure, they might not only be able to add on, but they'll hold on to this win. 5-1, and Bowling Green eyeing up that championship.
I mean, Wham has been everywhere this game. The MVP should go to Wham in making sure that every opportunity that he can take a shot, it's dropping and dropping in goal. It's an on-goal shot. 5-1 with 90 seconds remaining. If you're Trinity, you've got to abandon all things and just pull the goalie, force shots on goal, because it doesn't matter if you give up another goal. What only matters is if you're able to get goals to drop yourself. Otherwise, you're not going to have enough time, as we're down to just 70 seconds. And here's another shot from Wham and another goal. He's got 7 shots on goal, and 4 of them have been goals. It's just impressive what he's doing in this game, and I'm calling MVP for the real Wham in this game and series.
Oh my, and I can't really disagree with you on that one. The reality is that if Bowling Green want to win, they need Wham to score, because first 3 games, goal, 2 goals. They get 4 within 3, then 3 games straight, not a single goal on the board for Real Wham. And all of a sudden, here in game number 7, they step up when it counts the most. 4 goals at this point, and we are not even done. 6-1. We may not be done with the game in terms of how many scores we're going to see, but I think we're done in terms of who's taking this one. Bowling Green High School with 40 seconds left can take a little bit of a victory lap, because with this much time left, there's not a chance at a comeback, and my oh my, do Bowling Green deserve to celebrate. What an impressive performance.
An incredible performance, coming in as the 13th seed, upsetting the 6th seed. I mean, they took the first 3 games. The first 2 games were commandingly won 3-1 victories, and there is another one, getting Kryptone involved, making sure that he is able to have a goal on the day as he finishes up the goal on this game. I mean, he's got multiple shots, but 1 goal on this game here, and now 7-1, 15 seconds. Bowling Green, I mean, the response after dropping game 4, 5, and 6. Game 6 was a close one at 4-3. They really started to feel themselves out. But as the final seconds click off the screen, here we go. The play clock is almost done. Just a formality. All it's got to do is touchdown. Your Bowling Green Purple Rain are your KHSAA state champions. I mean, what an incredible performance from both of these teams, though. You would think it's going to be a 1 or a 2 seed or a 3 seed that find their way into the finals. No, it was a 13 and a 6 seed that found their way into the finals, and they gave us a show.
They gave us a heck of a showing here. Unfortunately, Game 7, a little bit more one-sided than we were expecting. But to be fair, we weren't expecting it to be one-sided in this way. Bowling Green, what a turnaround to finish off this series, looking like they did at the beginning of this one. And that's what we want to see, is these players play at their peak, because no one wants to take a win when someone's on an off day. And I can guarantee you one thing, no one was feeling like they were in a slump in game number 7. Yes, Bowling Green did take an overwhelming victory, but that is because Trinity tried their best, but eventually their strategy was found out. But they gotta be proud, man. They outlasted their varsity team.
Yeah, they should be proud, and running up as the runners-up of this state championship. I mean, there's so much to work on, and one of the things I absolutely love about Rocket League and the Play versus seasons is that these players get to come back and continue to excel in their careers of Rocket League athletes, and they just continue to get better and better and better and better. And this fall season, it really shined through for both of these teams, and Purple Rain just finds a way to really walk away with this victory, because it seemed after game 5, it really felt like Trinity was going to force this final game and possibly even go into that reverse sweep, getting that close game in game 6 too. I mean, they only won that by 1 goal. It was 4-3 at the end of that Trinity walked away, forcing that game 7. But then Bowling Green, out of nowhere, 7-1. I mean, just an impressive game. And Wham's got to be the MVP for that, just walking away with the amount of goals that he had. I think he had 4 goals on 7 or 8 shots. Just an impressive game.
An impressive game all around, and really an impressive series from every single player on the pitch here. We gotta give credit, man. With so many teams that battle it out, it is rather difficult to even make it to that grand final, especially as the 13th and 16th seeds. I don't think we can emphasize this enough. The 13th seed taking home the state championship, that is incredible. So congratulations again to Bowling Green High School. Purple Rain are your champions, and Docs, I think that's all we've got for these lovely folks at home, though.
You know, it's been an absolute blast, and I want to shout out the production crew for giving us an amazing view from all the different goals, all the replays, everything there, and Play Versus for putting on such an incredible season and an incredible postseason with the championship like this. Congratulations, Bowling Green. You are the state champions, the KHSAA. That's going to do it from us here at Play Versus. I'm the Doxology alongside Bass, saying so long and have a wonderful evening.